To the United Nations, Michael Waltz, with me here last weekend on the rising threat Cuba's communist regime poses to America's national security. On Thursday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told representatives from more than 60 countries gathered at a State Department summit in Washington that violent far-left political terrorism can no longer be denied and must be treated as a global threat. Rubio said networks of far-left extremists around the globe are in direct coordination with each other while partnering with foreign adversaries of America. Joining me now in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here. And I was reading earlier open source intelligence, and they're reporting that U.S. officials suspect China or Russia may be feeding Iran targeted data after Tehran struck sensitive sites within unusual precision. With unusual precision, how are they finding out specifically where our bases and information infrastructure is? Do you believe China is behind it?
Of course, China is involved in this, Maria. China is part of that axis of evil. You've got Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. They are partners in this. And we know that they are sharing data. We know that they have been building, Iran's been building drones that Russia is using as they're fighting Ukraine. And you look at this neighborhood that they have developed with Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, and you know their goal, China's goal, is to be globally dominant by 2050. It is one of the reasons we have to block some of this activity that they're doing in the Middle East with Russia and also with Cuba.
Well, Senator, look, you are in an important role in the Senate in terms of ensuring that the U.S. has what it needs to finish the job here. This week, we've got Reconciliation 3.0 being debated and voted on in the House. What are your expectations in terms of the ultimate supplemental money that it will be confirmed and the president's ask for a $1.5 trillion defense budget in 27?
And what we know is during the Biden years, they did not move forward with what needed to be done with modernizing our military. And now we see that our military numbers, recruitment numbers are being met. We are also seeing that there is more of a call to invest in hypersonics, in drones, in Space Force, and 21st century activity that is going to make us competitive in the way that we need to be. I fully believe that you're going to see us move forward with the reconciliation bill. We are encouraging the House to stay in D.C. and get this done so that we do not have a shutdown. And you talked about that earlier with Senator Fetterman. We don't want to see another shutdown. We want to make certain that we are going to fully fund the government. We're going to do a continuing resolution. We're going to keep the doors open and allow our military to actually enter into these contracting projects that are going to help to keep our nation safe.
Well, it just seems like the Reconciliation 3.0 is as confused as ever. Does it have any shot to get passed in the Senate?
I think that it does have a shot at getting passed in the Senate. We are looking forward to receiving that bill and seeing what the House is able to get into it. And then bear in mind, we can pass this with 51 votes and making certain that we are putting that attention on how we fund our military and how we address the threats that are out there globally, whether it's the Middle East, whether it's Russia, whether it is what is happening in the Western Hemisphere. We want to make certain that our military has what they need to do the job to protect us.
And how worried are you about Cuba? We understand that there are weapons in Cuba right now made in China.
Right. Well, we have to realize that, yes, indeed, China is looking for these partners, Maria, and we also have to realize that Cuba has been the host, if you will, to every single international terrorist organization and gang, and they're working with the cartels. You've seen it yourself at that southern border.
Yes,
and what we want to do is make certain that we continue the economic pressure on Cuba. As you well know, economic pressure helps to lead to the collapse of these authoritarian regimes. So we will continue that through our policies. I think it's one of the reasons that President Trump has worked so closely with Secretary Rubio and Secretary Bessent to be clear-eyed about how we work with the Department of War and Secretary Hegseth and make certain that the pressure continues on our adversaries. President Trump said he was going to end a lot of these forever wars. Iran warring with us for 47 years. Cuba, look what has happened to them over the last several decades. And then stopping China from moving forth with their global dominance.
Yeah, Senator, let me switch gears and come to domestic affairs.
Sure.
You are running for governor in Tennessee, and there was a report out of CNBC this week which determined that Tennessee is the worst place to live in America. Now, I have an issue with these 10 worst states to live in for 2026 because ironically or coincidentally or not coincidentally, they're all red states, okay? Tennessee, Texas, Indiana, Louisiana, Georgia, Utah, Missouri, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. The network got mocked massively online for this list where there are absolutely no blue states on the list. But Tennessee is topping the list. And they say to determine the rankings, they utilized hard data on factors like crime rates, air quality, and health care. Your reaction?
That report was absolutely laughable. Tennessee has the lowest per capita tax rate. We are rated as one of the most fiscally responsible states. We rank #1 in election integrity. And of course, we are the best place in this country to live, to work, to rear your family. And we're going to be #1 in having great jobs for our kids and grandkids to come home to, Maria. We want them to really depend on building their life here in Tennessee. So look at who they said was the best state, Vermont, Bernie Sanders. In Tennessee, we're not for government control, we're for individual freedom. And as governor, I'm going to make certain that we are the freest state in the United States.
Wow, that is just extraordinary. To factor in things like air quality and not even recognize California with all of those wildfires, and that's not on the worst places to live. Look, one of the issues, talk about jobs, one of the issues around jobs will be certainly AI-related jobs. And New York Governor Kathy Hochul signed an executive order implementing a one-year moratorium on data center projects. Where are you on this issue? You do have some pushback on data center projects right now, even though the president has put in place ways that the companies that are building out the data centers will, in fact, pay for their own electricity. So it's false to say that the data centers are pushing electricity rates up, but that's exactly what Kathy Hochul said in New York.
Yes, indeed. New York has the most expensive electricity in the United States. President Trump very wisely did an executive order on a ratepayer protection plan. As governor in Tennessee, I'm going to make certain that we have a state-based ratepayer protection plan for our citizens. On AI, I'm continuing to work with the White House and their team on protections on AI. We look forward to getting that legislation out soon. And on the data centers, Maria, this is something communities are going to decide. There are industrial parks in many of our counties and communities around Tennessee that want to host a data center. So these are like the factories of 100 years ago. You don't want to plop them down in the middle of a neighborhood, but there are going to be areas that want them. They're skilled labor jobs for electricians, plumbers, HVAC, welders, and there are many communities that would like to recruit these.
Senator, thank you. We'll be following your work as always. Good to see you. Senator Marsha Blackburn this morning in Tennessee. We'll be right back. President Trump declines to extend the USMCA deal for another 16 years, putting the trade deal on track to expire by 2036 as the president seeks bilateral deals with Canada and Mexico separately. New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney on her bid to hold Canada accountable